Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another fun Christmas video. Today I've got some budget-friendly dollar DIYs to share with you. Let's get started. So we're gonna start out by making a base, and I will show you what it is a base for in just a minute. Actually, this is a support piece. We're using 2 tumbling tower blocks and 2 wood cubes from the Dollar Tree. And I'm using some Gorilla wood glue, and I'm just smearing it with my finger so that I don't have any oozing out in between the cracks. I find that some glues, when they dry, even if they dry clear or you think you've wiped them off, that it's hard to paint over them. So I just wanted to be sure that that wasn't gonna be a problem. You can use anything you have on hand. You're gonna see what we're making. This is just what I had that I thought would work well. This does take a little bit longer to dry, so I'm putting some painter's tape around to hold it into place, but I think that that works better than hot glue in this situation. Now I have our base. This is a wood piece. This is was a natural wood color from Dollar Tree. I previously used this for a DIY. I often just reuse stuff. So, because I make a lot of stuff for my channel. Originally I thought I was gonna paint this brown. I kind of wanted to look like stain. You're gonna see it in just a second. We'll change that again. But, okay, so I've got this this galvanized snowman sign from Dollar Tree, and we want to make it stand up, so that's why we're putting all of this together. I'm using some super glue gel. Hot glue does not hold well on metal, so I'm using some super glue gel to get this on place. I used some painter's tape to kind of line up where I wanted it to be. I designed the support this way so that it really wouldn't be visible from the front, and I wanted to put it on before I painted this sign so that I could paint that piece as well to make it just blend in better. So as you can see, I've got a plate with a bunch of grays, whites, a little bit of black, and a little bit of brown. And I'm using a pouncer brush. First, you can see a lot of the pounced circles. It's okay, we're gonna take care of it. But I wanted it to be a different type of galvanized metal. So I went in a lot with the darkest color, and I'm using my heat gun partially. I didn't need to be totally dry, and you gotta be careful because obviously it's on metal, so I had it on a low heat. But I also, I didn't want the paint to be fully wet because I didn't want these colors to just completely blend together. But you can see I will move forward and not fully have it dry in between each one. And I'm just going to layer. The brown and the black is gonna come in sparingly. We're gonna blend it in. In a second here, you'll see I'll switch from using the brush, this sponge brush, to you can't really see it in my hand, but it's a scrunched up piece of saran wrap. And I did this a couple different times to help blend it in. It takes away the circle shapes, and it just worked really well. I did try to go with lighter colors, either the light gray or the white around the perimeter, and then blend that in. I did use a couple different pieces of saran wrap. I cut a piece and then just cut it into like little squares. But I just kind of kept going back and forth until I had the color look that I wanted. And I did do this for the back, and I did do it over the little wooden piece that we attached as well, just to make it blend in better. But I didn't share that all with you. All right, now we're gonna move on to embellishing our snowman. I have these wood planks from the Dollar Tree. I'm using my miter saw box to cut them down. You can also probably use a straight edge and a sharp blade very carefully and score it, and it'll eventually cut through. They're not thick pieces. I'm just gonna sand on the edges, and then I did cut another piece to be the bottom. You could also make this out of popsicle sticks if you wanted. This was probably not, this didn't fit in there, so that's at an angle, but my hand was far away from the blade, so I went for it knowing I wouldn't lose a finger. But as you can see here, we've got ourselves a little hat, and you could also do this out of felt or something else. I think I forgot to say from the beginning that I'm really going for a little bit more of a vintage traditional feel in these DIYs today. So I thought about doing the brim of the hat slanted like you see, but I thought straight across would be a little bit more traditional looking, and that's what I was going for. So I'm using it super glue gel, which is always nerve-wracking for me, and a little bit of wood glue, and we're gonna paint this black. I did give this 2 coats, and I'm gonna paint it from the front and the back, but we're going with a very basic traditional looking snowman. I'm doing no face on my snowman, but you of course could do that. You could paint your snowman white if you wanted. At this point, I'm realizing I had painted that brown, sanded it down. We're back to the base, obviously you can see here. And I didn't like the look of it. So I'm gonna paint it black. easy to do. Just repaint it and just giving that a coat or two to give that nice coverage. And then I pulled out 2 little stems from some wire, from some florals rather, and I'm painting them black. I am also going to Mod Podge that to help seal in the paint so it doesn't flake off. But those are going to be our little stick arms. I did also Mod Podge our snowman, and I don't think I shared that with you. But on metal or glass, I would definitely recommend it, sealing it in. It's helpful on other items too, but especially those kinds of things. And once again, we're going to go for a very vintage style, traditional looking snowman. So I have some red, just like ribbed ribbon in my stash. And I'm just gluing that so that it lays the way I want it to make our little scarf. So I just kind of folded it up at the corner there to give like little pleats so that the scarf would lay the way I wanted it to. And then we're going to trim that off. I didn't do any fringe. I didn't feel like that would work well with the scarf or with the ribbon. I figured it would just fray. We're going to put a strip of red around the base of our snowman hat. I just kind of kept looking up pictures of like vintage snowman images. I really loved that look, and you could put little snow cones, goodness, pine cones, greenery, all sorts of things. But I remembered I had in my stash these cute little holly berries and leaves. I was gonna say poinsettias, and I thought this was so cute and very traditional. This is a pack from Hobby Lobby, and I just hot glue that to the center. And again, using a little super glue gel and some hot glue to attach this on. I purposefully made the lid on that, the gap at the top of the bottom of the hat so that it would rest on like that, and I would have a place to attach it. And then we're attaching the arms on with a little bit of super glue and a little bit of hot glue and some wood glue and super glue to attach this whole thing to the bottom. I thought about using actual sticks on the snowman, but I was afraid they would break too easily when I tried to store this away. You could just do hot glue on the arms and then kind of peel them off to pack them away and reattach them each year, because hot glue doesn't hold, it holds fine, but it would come off when it was packed up. Anyways, I hope I'm making sense. I feel like I am rambling today, but that is my finished little simple snowman. I thought he was super cute. Let me know what you think down in the comments. All right, so up next, this is another sign that I had previously DIY'd. I think it was from Hobby Lobby, but you could use some signs from Dollar Tree as well. I think this one would be really cute in like a set of 3, but I only did 1. So I'm going to paint this white. I'm going to paint the whole thing white at first, just because the border was already black, and we're going to paint it red, but I was afraid that the black would come through too much on the red, and I would end up needing more coats of that to get the color I want. So I'm using crimson. My paint, this one is like so goopy. I don't know if you can even see it, but I put a little bit of water in and shook it up, which was fine. And then suddenly this lid started to leak, and there you go. Not sure what happened there. We're going to clean up our mess, and then we're going to come back to it. But I didn't water the paint down a lot, just a little bit, because it was just feeling very, very chunky. And this is why, unless you were going to do a ton of crafting, it's a good idea to get small containers of colors so that you don't have the same color for too long. So the frame of this piece has a little lip on the front as well as the sides. So I'm just using a tiny, tiny paintbrush. This is very sped up, and I'm going to give a couple coats of red around this little thin border along with the outside edges. If you're new here, I just want to say, hey, welcome. My name is Leanne, and I enjoy sharing budget-friendly DIYs here on my channel. So I hope that if you are enjoying this, you will subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is turned on so that you are notified every time I post a new video. I do a lot of Dollar Tree DIYs. I repurpose stuff. I do thrift flips, anything I can really get on a budget, and I try to keep the DIYs simple and, of course, fun. All right, so once that is done and drying, I've got one of these snowflake ornaments, wood ornaments from Dollar Tree. We're going to fill in our hole using the lightweight spackling from Dollar Tree, and then using a little tool to just kind of scrape out in between the grooves of the snowflake. Once that was all dry, I just gave it a light sanding, and we're going to go in with some more of the crimson. So once again, I think this DIY would look really cute in a set of like 3, and either do different color snowflakes, maybe the base the same, or different shaped snowflakes would be really, really cute. I have 2 different shapes on hand, but I'm sure you could buy more. Anyways, there it is finished. And now we're going to glue this on. Once again, I'm using the super glue gel. I don't know why I was really into that in this video, but normally I don't like to use it because it scares me and I glue myself to things. But the super glue gel is better than the regular super glue because it doesn't run the same. Just make sure you don't put on too much so that it's oozing out. But I needed something with like a nice fine tip, so it worked well for this. And we're just going to attach that to the front. You could totally leave it just like this. I had considered that, but I decided I wanted to do a little addition. I was showing you like a red and white cord would be really cute on there, but I wanted to bring in a little bit more rustic, just a hint of the jute. My DIYs don't all match necessarily in today's video, but they all kind of have a similar feel of like just, I don't know, traditional, vintage, which I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I nailed it. Maybe I didn't. I was also showing you that these little white snowflake stickers from Dollar Tree, they've got some glitter on them, would have been cute and fit perfectly in the center of the snowflake. But anyways, I made a little jute finger bow. There we go. Hot glued that to the side and trimmed down the edges of the tails. And that's it for this one. Like I said, I think it would be very cute in a set of 3, and you could maybe take away the jute. But let me know what you would do. All right, so for our last DIY, I have this ornament I picked up a year or 2 ago from the Walmart for only 98 cents. I do think I paid full price for it, but I'm not positive. And then this is a sign from Dollar General for $1. It originally had a farm animal on the front that I previously took off and used for another DIY. And I wanted to include these, bring these 2 things together. So our ornament has this hole, and it's not very easy to just cover up with a bow because of the location of it and the word and all of that. So I'm going to show you how I decided to disguise this. So I filled the hole in, and while we're letting that dry, I'm just going to go quickly over the letters with the crimson paint just to make it a slightly different shade of red. Not really necessary, but that's what I did. And then once the, what is it called? Lightweight spackling is filled, or is all dry and sanded down. My head's going to get in the way a couple times here, I think, but I'm going in with the palette that I used on the for my snowman, and I'm just going in with a little bit of white and then trying to just blend it in. Like the white kind of stuck out a little bit, so I'm adding in a little bit of brown on the edges, but then I'm adding what I'm putting in different parts, not just up at the top that I was trying to mask, because I wanted it to look a little bit more natural. So I was just kind of trying to blend the colors that were there. And yeah, let me know what you think. Did I do a good job with this? I just kind of kept going until I liked how it looked. And then I went in with lightly with a baby wipe and just kind of blended it in a little bit. You could also just use like a damp paper towel. But in the end, I thought it did a pretty good job at covering that up. So then I just wanted to attach this, and you could, I guess, do this a few different ways, but I'm using a couple small popsicle sticks, a good amount of hot glue, placing that down in the center, adding some more hot glue, pushing those popsicle sticks back together, a more like hefty amount of hot glue, and we're just going to put our ornament on top. I thought this was like the perfect fit. I didn't change the little chicken wire frame at all. I just loved it, but I did want to do a little bit of embellishment, so I'm using just scrap pieces of floral. It's like greenery, sparkly, dark green, and I'm just hot gluing that. And then we're going to use a burlap bow from Dollar Tree. This was in their fall stuff, but it really wasn't, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, burlap is not fall specific. And then we're going to hot glue that in the middle. I do add a few more pieces of greenery just to kind of, I don't know, I didn't want it to be too specific and like matchy. This would be cute hung on a little hook. I might actually hang this on my tree. It's like not too, it's a larger ornament, but it's not too large. But I love how this one came out. I was very pleased actually with all 3 of these. So I hope that you enjoy them. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. That's a very, very simple way at helping me out. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.